We were talking about the Hemp show.
Yes.
And your experience over the weekend. Because Sheena's journey, I mean, you're saying that you're more into the YouTube and marketing, but now you're going more into health and wellness. You've got, you know what, I think you don't give yourself enough credit for the amount of knowledge that you have with the wellness.
Yeah.
You know, so because it's a passion of yours, you'll be absorbing so much more of it. So I think that you know more than you actually think you know.
Yeah, I do. But it's been a long journey of self-discovery and shocking revelations. Some of the information that I've discovered over the last few years has been quite a shock to the system, because it's not something that you read about or you hear about in mainstream media. So much of what I've discovered and much of what I learned about at the Hemp Festival was it's against the norm, and people in government they don't want to see this plant legalized.
Why? What's the big deal? Like,
well, okay, so let's just share here. I've got a few things that I've brought in today, but just about the so many benefits to this plant, and it's using the entire plant. But there's we've been using hemp for many different purposes for thousands of years, and it just became illegal back in the 19th century. And since
do you know any research about why it became illegal?
Well, basically there was some propaganda that happened, and basically in America it stemmed from down in Mexico. They said that the plant created psycho behavior, and I mean, I don't know that much of the history, but the government declared it as being illegal to consume, and so they've classed it as a Class A. And I mean, not in America, it's different. On the state level, you can have it for recreational purposes and for medicinal purposes, but it's still illegal on a federal level. So you've got local laws and federal laws. And so
you couldn't have it in California, because I know it's legalized there, is that right? And you can't transfer it over to a state that's not legalized. That would be federal. That's where the federal law will come.
Yeah, that's right. So as a whole, they're still nowhere close to having the laws completely passed, but they've made a significant progress in many of the states. I think more than three-fourths of the states are using it for medicinal purposes, and now have changed over for recreational purposes. But a few of the stats that I've heard yesterday was that the cannabis consumption is 2 times more than the alcohol consumption. So there's more people smoking, and
but it is healthier than drinking alcohol. But alcohol is legalized.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm gathering? I mean, I'm just doing my own research.
Absolutely.
On it as well.
Absolutely. And it's
more health benefits.
So have you done any research at all on this?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, a little, just for YouTube videos and stuff like that. I invested into a cannabis company recently, so that's the extent of my research right now.
I mean, when we were growing up, we had the war against drugs, and pot was, and marijuana and cannabis. I don't like to call it pot because that's kind of slang, but cannabis was considered part of the drugs that are addictive and should be avoided. And so growing up, I was always taught that it was a bad thing, and there's a perception that it's bad, and that it's illegal, and that we shouldn't be doing it. And in reality, it's just because we've been told that. That's all.
Exactly
We've been told that. But the evidence shows that there are so many benefits. Do you want to read out what these benefits are?
Oh, these are benefits here then.
Yeah.
So, a plant of many uses. Food. Hemp seed is one of the easiest to produce and nutritious food crops on the earth. For many centuries, it was the staple food crop for most of the world. Wow. The oils produced from the seed contains the highest amount of essential fatty acids in the plant world. Hemp seed oil helps clear the human system of cholesterol. The banning of hemp as a food, as is the case in Australia, is senseless.
Yeah. So that's from the food. Well, you can just read at the top letter, fuel. So cannabis biomass is potentially the cheapest and most reliable way to produce energy. It is estimated that up to 90% of the energy produced by the use of fossil fuels can be produced instead from biomass. So they can use hemp for fuel if they wanted to. Paper, 75 to 90% of the paper used for books, maps, Bibles, banknotes, and newspapers were made from hemp up until the 1880s.
No way. Wow.
What about building material? Yeah.
I was going to say that one.
Building material. Hemp could replace wooden materials as it can be pressed into a variety of forms. Textiles, clothes. There's a lot of clothes, bags, hats, medicine. Safer than pharmaceuticals and less toxic as both prevention and cures for a wide range of medical conditions.
Yeah. Spirituality,
cosmetics, recreation, healthier choice of inebriant, I don't know how to say that word, and relaxant than alcohol. Can help overcome alcohol and other drug dependencies. And cannabis can reduce stress and relieve tension. And then
all the things that we need right now. I mean, stress and tension is 50%. 50% of people have anxiety, stress, and have these issues. I mean,
and juicing it too. If you juice it, and you can eat it. You can smoke it. You can drink it. You can put it in your shakes. Everything. So I just like going back. It's just I'm very passionate about not about legalizing it. I am passionate about legalizing it, but I'm more passionate about, telling the government that they can't tell me what I can and can't do. I have sovereign rights over my body, and if I'm not hurting anyone else, then I should be able to make decisions. And that goes for anything. I mean, I can decide to have a glass of wine. I can decide to have a burger if I choose. I can even smoke meth if I wanted to. Now, I don't, and I've never had any hardcore drug like that. But if the person is not harming anyone else, I don't know why you can say this person can take a pharmaceutical drug that can kill you, that is known to kill people, and not something else that grows from the ground. So that's really where my passion for getting the word out is really about my liberal rights as a human.
That's true though. I mean, it's so beneficial, and it's really booming. Why did this start? Where did the boom start? Like, I mean, it's always been around, underlying, and then it just seems to be, I don't know, maybe because I've just done some investing myself, and it just seems to be a lot of hype around it right now. In the last maybe year, has it been like in the media for longer than that? I mean, in Australia anyway, I just feel like it's just the last year's really picked up, ramped up. Or maybe I've just noticed it in the last year a lot more.
Well, it's getting really big over in America. When I left the U.S. in 2003, it was illegal. And so you didn't have dispensaries, you didn't have anything that you see now. I went home a few weeks back, and they have door-to-door dispensaries. They come to your house and they bring you your medicine if that's what you choose. And they've just come a long distance in just a very short amount of time. Now, I did learn yesterday that even though Australia follows suit, we follow suit, the same does England.
To the U.S.?
To the U.S., but we're still quite a few years away, about 10 to 20 years away from this becoming an everyday legal drug like it was back in the 1900s. It's just like changing the Titanic. It's changing people's minds. I think that people just need to start to understand, and what I'm starting to understand, not only... Well, see, I have not trusted the government since 2001. So I'm...
The Australian government or any government?
Any government. I believe that the government is supposed to protect us, but they do more harm in many different ways. And I started realizing this after 9/11. My dad has always kind of informed me with books and magazines, but I didn't really wake up to this fact until about 2001. The politics in the government can be seen in the health industry, and also after doing an interview this week, the education system as well. It's everywhere, and I encourage people to just start thinking and researching themselves on everything that is a big impact to your life. So
Yeah.
from, the medicine and the cures and the paths that you take. I mean, research everything. If you go to the doctor and you're diagnosed with cancer, take a few minutes, take a few days to gather your thoughts.
And see what all possibilities are out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's with anything though, isn't it? Like, I mean, not just cancer, but that's a good description on it. Like, you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket and feel like you just got to go and do chemo.
That's
like,
right.
You can go out there and just explore other possibilities.
Yeah, and I'm not saying, well, I am saying chemo's bad, but I don't feel like I'm the most appropriate person to talk about this. But I do know that we need to just question everything, and